this is another one it's a group of people on this one. Losers. And they're losing here for a good reason, but they have a very tough job ahead of them. U.S. coaches, because they have to figure out the relay pool. And you're already seeing people lobby online for why they should be in the relay pool. Now, Jeremy Warner wants to be the relay coach, so he's signing up for a tough job if he does it. And you can see the first response there is, you don't want them problems. And he says, for the 4x4, I don't want to figure out the 4x1. 4x1, both men and women, is going to be super rough. I think 4x4 is going to be rough on the women's side to figure out, because you got all these people who aren't running the 100 or the 400 who have strong cases to be made in the 100 or the 400. And I know we went through all of our teams, you, me, and Serenity, in the first 4 days of the Olympic trials. And then we already had to go back after the second 4 days of the Olympic trials. Imagine how many changes are going to take place between now and Tokyo, and then how many changes are going to be made from the beginning of the Olympics to when the relays come about. It's just going to be a moving target constantly. So I think this is going to be a tough spot. And everybody says that they deserve to be on, but then nobody says the people that should be left off, right? They say, oh, such and such should be on the 4x4. Okay, well, that means you're leaving somebody off. Who are you going to leave off? Or this person should be on the 4x1. I saw, Curly was tweeting out yesterday about how he should be on the 4x1 and the 4x4, which you can make a good argument for that. But then you got to say, okay, who's your other three guys? Because then who else are you going to leave off? Obviously, he's earned a spot in the 4x1 because he's finished in the top three. 4x4, probably based on his history, but he hasn't really run it that much this year. You're going to have Norman and Benjamin there. Cherry's run well enough. What if Randolph Ross gets in the final? Are you gonna keep him out? 4x1, complete mess on the men's side, because you have the three who made it, but then you also have Lyles there as well. Are you going to put Lyles ahead of people that he finished behind in the trials? That's going to be tough. Does Arian Knighton have a case? I don't Kenny Bednarik was fourth in the 100 and then comes back and gets second in the 200. You feel pretty good about him. Would you want this job, Gordon?
Oh, I do want this job, and I have a way to conduct this job. I have a system, and this is what we need to do. You ready for what we need to do? I mean, a few weeks ago, I dropped my 3 trials idea to figure out a way to pick the team, have 3 champions. That's your team. What we need we need a relay trials, and not the type of relay trials that I came up with a few years ago where you kind of run a relay team and the relay team qualifies. But there is a strong chance in the next month everyone is probably going to run again, right? People are going to want to do at least another race before the Olympics. Yeah. It's not everyone's just going to go into hibernation for 30 days. What we do is we pick a date that is good for the scheduling of training to be your best shape for August or whatever the date is. I don't care when the date is. It could be right away. It could be later. And we have a 100-meter race and a 400-meter race with everyone who wants to be on the relay, right? The only people who are guaranteed on the relay were the people who finished top 2 at USA's. So it would be who finished behind Bromell in 100?
Baker.
Can't believe it. Yeah, right. So Bromell and Baker are on the team. You have the top 2 400-meter runners, whatever, who finished 1-2 in the 400. Norman and Cherry, same thing regardless, right? So those people are locked. And then you have a race for who gets to be the 3rd and 4th leg. Now, I would argue
hold on
maybe
a second,
it shouldn't
though.
be top 2. Actually, I'm changing my mind.
Yeah,
I'm
you are
the
changing
idea
your
already.
Mind because it goes against your take here.
I'm changing it. Yeah, I'm changing my mind. The winner of the trials is guaranteed. So Trayvon is on the team. Michael Norman, Quinera Hayes, and Sha'Carri Richardson. So those are the people who are locked. And then we have this relays trials for who the other 3 are.
Mhm.
Now, some would argue we already had it. It was called the Olympic Trials. But now
Mhm.
it's different. Anyone can join. You can want to get on the start list. So if Shamir Little can now go and try to be on the 4x4, right? Because
Mhm.
a Thing Mo can now run an open 4 to show that she deserves to be on it. Sydney can go run the 400 to show that she deserves to be on it. But then we would get a Thing Mo, Sydney, Allison Felix, Shamir Little, Dalila Muhammad, and a
Yeah.
few other open 400 runners all racing to be top 3, which is what we do, to be top 3 to join Cornera Hayes on the 4x4. And then we do the same thing for the men. It'll be fun. I mean, then we'll get like Michael Norman running 100. You'll get Fred Curley running the 400. You'll get Grant Holloway running 100. He's like, oh, I'm going to run the 100 because I want to be on the 4x1. And we would
Yeah.
get, because when you're at the Olympic trials, the focus is self, right? It's your individual. You're focusing on making the team for yourself. You're not even thinking about relays. So maybe we should let people do everything for themselves. So now you're going to Olympics. But now we have that relay champs where you get to focus,
Mhm.
where Michael Norman can run 100 to be on the 4x1 or whatever.
Mhm.
And then that's how we pick an awesome team.
This is not that bad of an idea, especially
Yes.
compared to your 3 trials ideas, because I like the transparency. I like the meritocracy. I think you're right that it's difficult to be like, well, you already had the trials, but it's those for 100 and 400 meter runners.
Yeah.
That wasn't really fair to a 400 meter hurdler to get in. And then now we're going to try to start comparing apples to oranges. So you could say, okay, of course, someone like a Thing Mo deserves to be on the team, but there's other cases that are a bit more gray, and there's other people who are going to make their case. The thing that's difficult about it, so in a perfect world, you'd say you do this event, right? And then you'd list everybody. And then they could release it and say, here's our prelim team at the Olympics, here's our finals team at the Olympics. But someone's going to get hurt, right? Someone's going to have to
Yeah.
scratch. In the 4x1, you got people who are good at starting. You got people who you want to run on the curve. You got people who run on the anchor. So then you get into the inexact science of putting together a team that way. So it's more difficult than just having a list of people and you're going to say, these are my 4 for the prelim and these are my 4 for the final. Or I'm going to keep 2 from the prelim, 2 for the final. It must be, as an athlete, so difficult to try to figure out if you're going to be on this team, especially if you're somebody in that 3 through 6 range at trials and you're running the prelim. Maybe you get bounced in your individual event in the second round. Then you go to your prelim. Hey, I'm running for a spot. I need to run all out, but I got put on this weird leg and we're already ahead. Like it's so difficult to sort out, but I wouldn't be, they're not going to do what you suggest. So let's not get too carried away with it. But I like it. Number one, from a viewing perspective, it'd be awesome to see all those people run. And two, it would calm down some of these questions. We don't need to be on social media debating who should go. If you want to be on the team, show up and run. Otherwise, stop complaining that you got left off. That's why I would like
And
it.
it's like a second chance for a lot of these athletes too, right? It's like someone like Matt Bowling could be like, oh man, what if I go try to run a 400 and split at 43 or something? I don't know. Like you just have these situations and we can make it fun. You can make them when they run the 100 and the 400, they got to run with batons in their hands because they got to simulate what it's like to be on a relay. So you have to have a baton in your hand when you
Right, now
do
I'm out.
this.
Now I'm out of your idea. Sorry, you lost me. Right
No,
there.
come on. I mean, that they're not running there individually. They're going to be running with the baton in their hand. So you got to simulate what actually is happening in the relay.
Yeah. I think, do we want to limit it though? Do you want to limit it to people who you have to finish in a certain spot in your event, or is it really just open call for anybody?
It's open call.
Okay.
But the thing is that we could have multiple heats and it's a timed final. But the thing is, we're only going to let it's going to be seeded. So if you're a ninth
Yeah.
seed, you're going to have to do it on your own in a slower heat.
Okay. All right. We'll continue to have this relay conversation for I think a couple weeks now, heading into the